Hello and welcome. I am your host, Elizibar. This is Barbaric Tales number 1, which cost $1.70. That's right, $1.70. We got 3 separate stories in here. 2 of them are fantasy stories, one of them is sci-fi. And it's going to be kind of hard to show you this book. I want to show you a lot of this book. All right, we'll start with the cover. This is the first story here, The Warriors 3. So these 3 homeboys are sent in by their people to go stop an evil sorceress that is destroying the land. Pretty standard stuff, right? Like, it's pretty solid sounding, and it is. It is actually a really fun little story where our 3 warriors each get waylaid by a different obstacle along the way, including this last one, which is a bunch of ninjas that show up. Homeboy just wrecks the ninjas, but then the last boss shows up. She summons an evil orb to battle him. After zapping him, like, his armor's just like zorched right off of him, because like you can see his helmet up here, which looks really good, by the way. And he's lost the helmet, some of his other stuff, like, and you, mighty warrior, are no better off than they. Evil Temptra. That is my name. Don't worry. Okay, that part that kind of like took me out of the story. But up to that part, I was having a blast with this book, with this story. This is just a hoot. It's a lot of fun. He tries like this little magic pendant thing to try to destroy the orb. It doesn't work. Then his allies show up, and the battle continues onward. And I'm not going to show you the conclusion of the battle, but it's pretty good stuff. This story was a lot of fun. It looks good, but it pales in comparison to the anatomy work in the next story, which is Damn Log. This is a sci-fi story. It's set in the future after aliens invade, and you've got some bad guys on the streets trying to do a bad thing to a lady that they grab, and Damn Log is some kind of like genetically engineered assassin or something that escaped from his assassin masters, and he's here, and he's like, yo, I'm going to wreck you. I'm going to mess you up. It's a pretty straightforward story. There's not a lot of surprises here, but what there is some really fantastic anatomy work, dude. Look at the way this dude drew the hand right there. See the use of the shading and stuff? Like, he's nailing the anatomy. He's absolutely getting it. And all of the pages, all the panels are just full of this great anatomical work. Look at her hand right up there. Look great. Dude, we're kind of losing the light, aren't we? But that's okay. That's okay. We can lose the light a little bit as long as what I'm talking about is coming through. That's what really like just caught my eye in this story. It's a straightforward story. It's well paced. What you think is going to happen happens. He beats a bunch of dudes up. Then there's a twist, and then another twist, and the story's over. But along the way, there's all this really great looking line art. I think with a little color, like modern color, this would have really just popped off the page. This book's from '86, I think. The last story is another fantasy tale, and it's a story of revenge. And there's some nice looking art in this. Come on. That's a really well rendered little eagle head statue thing. A lot of the art in this is really nice too. But it's a story of revenge. So you got this guy coming in, he's going to kill an evil sorceress, and he's got to sneak into her castle and all that kind of jazz. If you've ever read a Conan story, you pretty much have an idea of how this is going down, what's about to happen. And there's not a lot of text in this, which, as I was reading it, kind of gave me that same feeling that I get from Blood Realm. I'm just kind of like, especially the early issues of Blood Realm, when there'd just be like a big, cool looking page and maybe a little text box on the page. Some of those early issues of Blood Realm were like that in big chunks of the book. It worked there, it works here, and it was fun. If you happen to see this in a bin and you can get it real cheap, I think it's definitely worth it just to pick it up and look at the cool art in this book. There's some really great looking stuff in here, and from that perspective, I can definitely recommend it. Alright, that's it. That's Barbaric Tales number 1. Given that I got this for the price of free, I'm pretty happy with it. Well, take care of yourselves. Bye bye.